Yeah, I mean,
bro, what's that one facial expression shit that's viral from American Psycho, where he's like, do it. You know what I'm talking about. It's like whenever like they'll do a TikTok where like some guy like goes to like open a door for a girl or whatever it is, and then like she'll come through and then they'll do the facial reaction of going like yes, like.
You see, I'm more identified with Tom Cruise and Eyes Wide Shut. That's my favorite movie.
I'm more identified with Tom Cruise and Eyes Wide Shut. That's my favorite movie. You see, I'm asking you.
Message. Can I identify as any actor?
Yeah.
Because let me choose an actor.
My life is like no, it isn't.
I identify as Forrest Gump. Bro, this is like when I just found out about No Jumper. Adam had interviewed Milo Yiannopoulos.
So you interviewed Milo, how do you pronounce his last name?
Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
The infamous alt-right, woman-hating, pro-Nazi.
I mean, yeah.
And while he's actually gay and in a interracial relationship himself.
The biggest Trump supporter on earth, yeah.
Biggest Trump supporter on earth. I think he caused an actual riot in Berkeley when he was supposed to speak there.
Yeah, and then since he's kind of been like, you never hear about him anymore.
He lost his book deal. I think he lost his position at Breitbart.
Yeah.
So you interviewed him?
I interviewed him early on. It was kind of like, I mean, I did the interview, and yeah, it did come back to haunt me in a certain way, just because people don't like the idea of like giving a platform to somebody like that who is saying things that are so controversial. I think now, given that like No Jumper's clearly gone like a rap direction, it probably wouldn't have been an interview that I necessarily would have been interested in doing. But at the time, like I'm looking at Joe Rogan doing it, and like the fact that he was down to do my podcast too, I'm like, this is crazy. Like I don't know, I was excited to do it at the time, and like people regard him as this Nazi and stuff, but I mean, we were like laughing about the idea that he was racist while we were doing that interview, So I mean, a lot of people define the guy in a lot of different ways, but I mean, he did say things that I was a little like taken aback by during that interview, but I mean, I still thought it was a worthwhile conversation to have. Like I feel like you got to be able to interview people that are on the other side of the fence from you.
This nigga
But
said
it was like, oh my god.
That nigga said it's Josh gay. I think so, probably. Yeah, so we had a conversation, and like Flacco, he was definitely.
I don't care what he is. He's just fucking.
That nigga's weird. I'll smack the shit out of that name.
Suck your brothers-in-law's dick.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Tug Josh impression. Yeah, like there was a conversation to be had, and yeah. So I talked to Flacco, and I also talked to Almighty and Lush as well, and yeah. I thought I heard both sides of the story, and
You're gonna make me want to fall asleep.
Oh man, I don't know why that nigga talks like that, bro. Like, so yeah, if yeah, there was definitely a conversation. What did the nigga say? Welcome back to episode of Walk with a waddle.
Here's a lighter stereotype. Black guys got big dicks.
Pause.
Is that something that you guys like? You're not. Are you gonna like shy away from that, or like deny it every time? Or just gonna like let people just roll with it because it's not ultimately super offensive to you? And
We just gonna let them roll
but
with
it
it,
is.
baby.
But at the end of the day, it's a stereotype, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why are you putting me in this box?
It is a stereotype,
So-
but it's not the
It
wrong
could-
one to go with. Let's
It could lead to women being disappointed.
2, 1.
2, 1.
2, 1.
2, 1. 2, 1.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. I ain't handle for being attracted to her though.
I think that pedophilia is something that is disgusting and is not.
Thank you.
Should never be tolerated. But
Just
I
in
think
case
it
the
is
chat
something that
wasn't sure.
does exist. That people are somehow attracted to kids.
Yeah.
If that exists in this dude and he's finding an avenue that
I wonder how her dad feels.
That's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
it's a
That's
lot
crazy.
of
That's like
it's a
putting
lot
a
of
band-aid
deep
on.
thinking
That's
here, and
crazy. That was
I don't
a
see any
crazy
harm.
take.
I don't see any harm in their relationship.
Shauna Ray, our heart goes out to you, boo. But
There's
if
no
anyone
harm
fucks
though,
with
right?
you,
Right. But
they're a
he's,
creep.
right. It's like again, like there's no harm here, but like with him, though, like
You're gonna get a billion
With-
side eyes.
yeah.
Everyone is going to think that.
They're
That
gonna
is
think
be
that's
the
your
first-
fucking daughter while you're outside.
Yes, that will be
Facts.
And as you get older, it's gonna get even worse.
Because she's not
he's
gonna
like
age.
20.
I wonder how much of homosexual behavior could be induced by molestation at an early age, though.
Yeah,
Because
that's the $1 million question.
that seems to be a real factor. It's not, and this is not denying people that are born gay, but I think there's a spectrum, and I think there's most certainly some gay acts that are committed on young people, and horrifically, those people tend to, on a pretty frequent basis, do the same thing to other young kids.
Yep.
It gets really weird in terms of like the victims becoming the victimizer.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Listening to the George Takei interview today, because they're trying to pull up everybody. Now that the Milo thing is out, they're pulling up everybody who in any way has condoned sex with underage people. And George Takei was talking about his own experiences in camp, and it was on Stern Show, and he was just talking about the way he was describing it as a positive experience with a kid who was in his late teens. I think he said he was 19, and he was like 13, somewhere in that age. And, it's absolutely child molestation. It's absolutely illegal. But the way he was describing it, he was pretty much describing it as a positive experience.
Right.
Which when it's your experience, I mean, it's illegal. The guy did something that was against the law, but boy, that's a weird area because it's his experience that he was talking about.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, and this is a mistake Milo made. You have to acknowledge that what you're talking about is fucked up and horrible and wrong, but you just so happen to have not had a bad experience within those parameters.
Right.
Like, say you were raped as a woman and you came.
Right. Which, by the way, happens for some strange reason.
Okay, so if you're one of those women and you're about to say that,
Yeah.
you have to understand that we're going into a very dangerous place right now, and you can't say, look, some rapes are absolutely fabulous, and women have come from them. You have to say,
Right.
this is fucking horrible, rape is evil, but I, by some weird freak of nature, actually liked it. Or a murder. I'm sure there's times when you murdered a guy and he was a mass murderer and it was a good murder.
Right.
And you go, okay, I'm describing a murder, I'm not condoning murder, but in this weird case, it worked.
Yeah.
And Milo's mistake was he said, it worked for me, and then he implied that it could work for a ton of other gays. To be and then
that's
the other
interesting.
thing was condoning sexual relationships with
Right.
13-year-olds, and he said especially in the gay world. Now, I know of straight guys who are, a straight guy I'm thinking of in particular, who was molested at camp, and it was by an older gay camp counselor. This guy thinks of that guy every day, he follows him on LinkedIn, hoping he'll die, he wants to murder him. So the problem with what Milo said is you end up normalizing this behavior and say it's okay in the gay world. Next thing you know, some older gay who's at camp goes, well, this is probably a fag that I'm blowing, so
Right.
this is okay.
What did you want to talk about?
I was going to say, this Nazi that you made Milo and I out to be, who wants genocide and who sees non-whites as inhuman, blah, 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 homophobic, sexist, whatever. First of all, that guy should be allowed to talk if he existed, but he doesn't exist. Your monster is a mythical beast.
Right.
And you've gone to college, you're 60 grand in debt already, to fight this mythical beast who doesn't fucking exist.
Cap.
Now with the album, are you paying attention?
There's definitely some truth, especially with Milo. There's some of the things that he says. But
It's all truth. What, like, again, I'm saying it right now. What did he say that's factually incorrect?
well,
That wasn't a joke.
Not factually incorrect, but extremely offensive to people. Like the 13-year-old boy comment. Like the thing about sort of normalizing relationships between grown men and 13-year-old boys.
He interviewed like a bunch of random people. Then he interviewed Ryan Gosling, and he's like a porn star dude, right?
Of course.
And he came in with two girls on leashes, and then yeah, bro. And then,
For real.
and then Adam asked him like, "What's the weirdest thing you've ever done before?" Right? Like in the porn scene, or like in your private world, actually. And you know what he said? This is why I remember it because it's like such a shocking memory. He said that he got a turkey baster. And he said he would come inside the turkey baster for about a 2 to 3 month period, and every time he came in, he would throw it in the freezer, and he kept coming in it until it was full. Then once it was full, he said he microwaved it or warmed it up and injected the whole thing into one of those girls that was sitting at that table.
I just wanted to know if you identified. I was asking you. You watch Into the Woods, like I didn't.
No, I've seen Drive.
It's
not fun.
I met you in September. You went on Adam's Patreon podcast. You guys met that way. You were living in Pennsylvania at the time, working at Target, and he came home from the Patreon podcast and he was like, "Sky is a star. We need to manage her." And then you came out the next month, and I we did a photo shoot together. I like showed you the ropes kind of like, this is what you should be doing on OnlyFans and everything. And when I asked you at the time, you were like, "Oh, I never drink." Like, I think we went to have a drink together and you're just like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't like alcohol. Like, I don't really drink." And you were still with your boyfriend at the time. And what is that, like 9 months ago? Yeah. Your life has completely changed in so many ways. Your location of where you live is different. Your relationship status is different. Your financial status is totally different. Right. Your social circle is totally different. Like, everything about your life has changed, and everything has changed in, I would say, positive ways, but you're at this point in your life where things could get
Sky
bad.
and Rah, can you tell me about some, you don't have to be super detailed, but have you gone to the hyper exclusive Bel Air mansion parties where everybody there is A-list? You have to sign an NDA. Have you been to those events?
Yes,
we just went to
the exclusive sex party.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It's like $10K to get in, and
Wow.
everyone's
Okay,
like
yeah.
famous and
A lot of
stuff.
people wearing masks.
Damn.
Wow. And there are like television people,
And
music
they're
people.
dead ass having sex on the staircase over here. Like, and
Everyone's
it's a
getting
lot
head.
of
Everywhere
the
you look, someone's getting
older
head.
men with
Wow.
like 20-year-old girls.
Everyone's getting head. Everywhere you look, someone's getting head.
Older men with like 20-year-old girls. Just everywhere.
Yeah,
Are the chicks famous or are the chicks just really hot girl?
the girls are getting paid to be with the men. With the older
Yeah,
men.
it's mostly known men, I would say, and just
Yeah.
like pretty young girls. Every single room has a bed in it. There's girls hired to work the events, and
Yeah.
they're like decked out, like they have their makeup done. They're super beautiful,
all
like,
naked. Yeah.
Every girl there is super beautiful, like top model, and that was my first time going. That was her second,
yeah.
right? But that was really interesting. I want to go back.
drugs on platters. They like
See.
bring it
What?
out and offer
Yeah.
you, like literally on platters.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Drugs on platters. They like bring it out and offer you, like literally on platters.
Drugs.
Like blow.
Blow. So this is, I want to talk about this because this to me is really the top of the world. If you're at one of these
We were
parties,
there and we were like, this is so.
We didn't do anything
didn't do
though.
anything,
We
yeah.
went as watchers.
Because it's a lot to take in. When
King
you're
Croc,
there.
you should go as a watcher. I'm sure they'd love it.
Watch some people get packed out.
But that is really, I've heard it said that that is the American dream, to be doing cocaine in the Hollywood Hills with celebrities. Bret Easton Ellis, one of my favorite writers, said that. He wrote American Psycho. I love that guy. But that really does sound like, and I'm not saying that's happiness, but that sounds like the American dream to be at one of those parties. So you girls pull up. I imagine it's in Bel Air or Beverly Hills.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a $30+ million mansion.
Yeah.
Jake Paul stuck his fingers up her ass 10 minutes after she took a shit, and he put them in my mouth, and I sucked it off, and I said, like, smelled like shit afterwards. It was, it was really bad.
Like when Steven takes his shit.
Thank you for joining me in this episode of Behind the Symbolism. In today's episode, we'll be uncovering the hidden truth of the movie Eyes Wide Shut, a movie that was written by Stanley Kubrick, with this actually being the last film he would work on before his passing. On this channel, we often talk about the hidden secrets of this world, and this movie is a clear look into that dark world that many of us never get to see. Many believe Stanley Kubrick risked it all to tell the world what the elite really do behind closed doors. I believe this movie is a perfect example of what goes on in the elite Hollywood parties. I believe this movie was a clear warning for anyone who ever oversteps and tries to expose them, as everyone who did in this movie met a tragic end. The first thing we obviously need to talk about is the ritual we see when the doctor arrives at the house. This is an obvious Freemasonic ritual, as the scene is even shot in a Grand Lodge in New York City, one of the biggest Freemasonic lodges in the country. This lodge was also used to film for the series Gotham. All of the guests of the secret party were partaking in Aleister Crowley's ritual form of magic, called X-Magic. People who follow Crowley's teaching of OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, believe that participating in this ritual gave them demonic blessings. Even the tapping of the staff can be seen in Freemason rituals. I wouldn't be surprised if the rituals were really going on during the film. Many of the people seen in the movie can't really be seen due to them wearing masks, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were truly Freemasonic members. When the doctor was taken upstairs, you can see what these men are into when they are together at these satanic parties. When the woman sacrifices herself for the doctor and saves him, at the end of the movie, it's confirmed that she was indeed sacrificed for him. I believe this directly points to the countless strange celebrity passings that always result in overdoses. To me, it's a clear reference to how they tend to deal with any of their problems. It's obvious what Stanley Kubrick was showing us with this scene. Many of us hear of the secret parties that are hosted for the elite, where the Freemason leaders meet to participate in rituals and indulge in every sinister desire without any consequences.
Message!
I also believe this scene makes an obvious reference to countless women who work as escorts that go missing and are never seen again. These are the perfect women for men like this to utilize, as the public usually look at those type of women as disposable. In the movie, there are many satanic references through the entire film that point directly to this being a warning and maybe even a confession. Could this movie be what happened to Stanley Kubrick? What happens in this movie seems to mirror what happens in real life. In the movie, the doctor sees something he shouldn't have, and when he tries to expose it, it results in dire consequences for many people in the film. Similar to what I believe Stanley did when he made this movie, trying to expose their secrets, ultimately paid the ultimate price. Many people believe something was done to him so that they may change certain scenes in the movie that were exposing too much. To me, this doesn't sound far-fetched, as the movie just plays out like a threat for those who try to expose the elite's activities. What I am 100% certain of is this movie was influenced by the Freemasons. So much of its symbols were littered throughout the film. I also didn't find it coincidental that Tom Cruise played the lead role of the film, as it's well known that Tom Cruise was part of the Church of Scientology, another very secretive group which operates as a church, but in my opinion looks more similar to an occult. At the end of the movie, the doctor meets with his rich patient that invited him and his wife to the ball. I believe this scene was done because Stanley wanted us to see who attend these events are the richest, most powerful men in the world. In one of my podcast episodes, my wife mentioned a secret party that was held annually by one of the richest families, the Rothschilds, called the Cyrillus Party. In the photo of the Cyrillus Party, you can see the guests who dress similar to those who attended the party in the movie Eyes Wide Shut. I don't think this is a coincidence. If you were to ask me, Stanley was most likely referring to the same people. You might ask yourself, why would the Masons allow this movie to be released, exposing them? Well, I believe the Masons had no issues with this movie being made after they removed what they didn't want the people to see. Millions of dollars was already invested into the production of this movie, and in my opinion, they knew people would pay to see the movie because Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were in the movie, two A-list actors. Also, it being the last movie Stanley worked on before his passing, not even being able to finish it. Many people at the time of the release and still to this day watch the film and don't really understand any of it. This is exactly what the elite expected to happen. The average person who watches the movie won't get much of it, just seems creepy and strange, but at the end would brush it off as just a movie. Those who get the movie clearly see it as a threat to think about before trying to expose those who run this world. We hear men like Jeffrey Epstein, who were accused of doing the most despicable things possible, be allowed to be free and continue his evil for such a long time without facing any real consequences. That's until the moment he was arrested and was about to start spilling names of those who participated in those parties with him. These people are allowed to continue their evil without ever facing repercussions for their actions. These are the men that run our world. These are the men pushing for a one world government. Whether Stanley paid the ultimate price to be able to expose the truth, that's something we won't ever know for sure. What we do know is this movie is full of Freemasonic imagery, which tells a dark story that seems that could be true. What do you guys think?
Messages that Kubrick may have scattered throughout the film.
I mean, when he said, look, there's two things you can say about this film. It's about sexual obsession and jealousy. That was it. That was sort of the standard press release. So that's what we said for a year and a half when people would ask us. And now when I look at the film, I think it's so much more than just that.
For a university with such humble, churchly beginnings, it's shocking then that one of their oldest secret society's initiation rituals historically was rumored to include sharing the intimate details of one's full sexual history. Shrouded in secrecy, this is everything we've dug up on Skull and Bones. Founded in 1832, Skull and Bones is the oldest of Yale's many secret societies.
No. Really? I gotta leave this. This is pure evil. On this page is pure evil. And this bitch ugly as hell in the face. And look, I ain't here to like judge anybody's looks, but the fact is this. When you're trying to put yourself on Front Street as a porn star and then your man got the nerve to speak about me, well, fuck you, fuck everybody. I tell you why. If you're going to be with a man, be with an honorable man. If you're going to be with a man, be with a strong man. And be with a ruthless man if you want beef with me, because I don't give a fuck about nobody or nothing. You dig? Carrying on. Now I'm done with this rat face ass, plain face ass, old ass, fake titty. Look at these high ass titties. Fake titty, harlot, hoe ass, little bitch. I'm done with this hoe. How many titty suck pics? Oh no, and they was training the child in the ways of evil. Oh, they didn't dress the kid up in the banana jumper and then feed it bananas. And again, you think this is a setting for a photo shoot for a child. But what this really is a porno setting. They're about to get this baby up out of here and shoot an OnlyFans and start stuffing bananas in Lena's mouth straight away and other places as well. But I ain't going to get into that. They got a food porn fetish. Y'all, oh man, these people are sick. They're sick. Oh my goodness. Now let's talk about the pedophile guy. This broad might be a pedophile too. As much titty sucking as she put on the internet. And Lord knows them fake ass titties don't produce milk. Oh, this broad is a nut. Look at this airbrushed ass shit right here. Who thought this was a good idea? I just need to know. Who was like, hey, Lena, being that you're pregnant with the child of a demon, let's take a photo so we can memorialize this. This is brilliant. Only a pervert would want to see a broad in a state of undress while pregnant with another man's seed, right? That's a super turnoff.
Why don't you take a seat right over there? What was on the agenda tonight?
I was just gonna take her out and show her around.
Take her out and show her around where?
Fairfield.
Fairfield.
That's it.
And what exactly were you going to show her?
The beach, sites to go to.
So you're the welcome wagon here in Fairfield. You're just going to do a favor for a 13-year-old girl.
Well,
at the end of the day, you showed up. After circling the house, you circled the house, you pulled in the driveway, you wanted her to get in the car with you, not even having met. That's a little creepy, I gotta tell you, Steve.
I understand. And I did not bring any condoms with me.
Well, that doesn't mean anything, really, does it? What else did you bring?
Nothing.
Just yourself?
Yes.
Hey, word around town is y'all niggas quit no jumper. Let's get to that. I don't know nothing. Hey, all right. Look at that nigga. All right, smack. Look at that. I think, hey, you are an idiot, bro. This nigga is an idiot.
How you feel about the No Jumper podcast? Fuck No Jumper. Nigga.
Yo, hey, why won't they, like, you feel me, be blasting, like...
Just take your IG act.
Take your IG act. But why won't they blast Adam, like, if it was you, bro, you'll be all over the shade room and everything right now. Like, why is this hate coming from Adam, though? Like, nigga, they'd be posting all the clips if it was you.
Because his last name is Grand Mason.
That's what you think?
Hey, that's a real thing, though.
We talking shit.
Rolling Stone cover Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, they said that dude's name was Grand Mason.
I'm sorry? They did? Grandmaster or
Grand Mason. Maison. Grand Mason. I was paused for a second. Funny what a name could do, right?
Maison?
I'm Googling it.
That's like maison.
Put the French on it, Mel.
It's...
What's that?
It
His
looked like
level
somebody
in...
that'll hang a black dude. That's what it sounds like.
That's word.
To me.
Yeah.
That sounds very different from Adam22. I like how people rebrand themselves to intrude on the black community.
Oh, shit.
Had he come in as Grand Mason,
yeah, it's going a little different.
Yeah,
it's definitely going a little different.
Yeah.
Niggas not getting behind that.
Yeah.
He's rebranded himself. That's the name he gave himself?
Listen, read the...
Go ahead.
Is that his real name? That's what Rolling Stone said. Rolling Stone said that's his name.
Okay. What's the problem?
Nothing. Anyway, come on, what else is important?
What, Mason? That sounds a little different.
Yeah,
that sounds different, dog. Oh, got it. That nigga walk in and say, how you doing? Grand Mason, Grand Mason. We gonna do the conspiracy shit again, because they killing me. Like, for real, keep me on the conspiracy. I want to stay away from y'all, but I still want to be up to date on any conspiracies. Well, Mason sounds crazy. It hits different. Why? Because of the word Mason?
Grand Mason.
Grand Mason sounds it just sounds like a person.
It sounds very KKK-ish.
Yeah. It sounds like that's his clan name.
Yes.
Not saying it is. That ain't
saying it is.
Yeah.
Hold on, you know what, y'all?
And don't get crazy during Ramadan, nigga.
Hold on, y'all. I'm with y'all. I agree.
There you go. You learn it. You learn it. That's my man right there. Okay.
So Snowfall's having a spin up.
Well, thank you to devil. Because he is.
Yes. Or stand.
Sounded like some devil shit. That was crazy that people were sending me that shit, and I was like, they mad at me now. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And I was like,
Oh,
Why? Because you fuck with the devil?
They think I'm the devil now. They was like, hey, he's ignoring the signs. I talked about every single thing. They said, he didn't talk about the tattoos. He's one of them. I was like, come on, man.
Clear him up.
What is the specific accusation that I'm being hit with here?
Well, they told me at first, the whole way it started, they was like, your dad was a Fed. And I was like, well, send me the video.
My dad was not a Fed. My dad was actually in prison.
His dad started fentanyl.
For a year. No, he did not. He was convicted of, he took a plea bargain.
Promoting evil in the music.
I might be getting a little bit too deep here, but I don't really think that if you look at what Satan did in the Bible, I think the main gist of like why somebody might want to have a satanic
Satan symbol?
Well, it's just a tattoo, but in reality, it's a Baphomet, which is satanic symbol, yeah. But it's because if you actually look at what Satan did in the Bible, it wasn't much besides saying like, hey, shit, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, Satan as a character, to me, is very American.
Full of Freemasonic imagery, which tells a dark story.
For just people to just cool off a little bit, you know what I mean?
In terms of your obsessive fan base that hates you and wants to terrorize you?
I don't consider those fans, you know?
They're like anti-fans.
Yeah.
But they're like, they put a lot of mental energy into affecting you negatively, right?
They did, but they don't anymore because out of sight, out of mind. So if you're not looking at it, then you don't see it.
Okay, but I've seen it. I've seen it on Twitter.
I don't look at it. I already know it's there. It's repeated things from spam accounts and a group of people that don't like me that are Backstreet Boy fans.
Right. So you just ignore it.
Yeah. What else you gonna do? I got millions of fans. I got hundreds of millions of fans.
You don't think it's honest criticism?
What?
The stuff that they say about you. Do you feel like in reality it's not in good faith?
No, absolutely not.
I was trying to dig into it a little bit.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It wasn't.
What did you think?
I mean, you have like the domestic violence situation. I seen somebody posted a bunch of texts that were alleging that you were talking to a minor at one point. I don't know if you want to speak on that. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there was, but the rest of the text was never proven. Where I said, "You're underage. I can't talk to you," and that happened when I was like 19 years old.
That's how old these messages are?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think yeah.
I thought they were like iPhone screenshots.
And like people looked into it. They had cops, all that shit, and they said Aaron did nothing wrong because you never told him his age. And actually, in state of New York, like, yeah, it just doesn't work that way. It was like a trap, kind of. So, but it happens. I mean, that's why I say, look at Drake Bell, look at Kyle Massey. You know,
You got an axe to grind with them.
The what?
Do you have a beef with them, or are you just
I don't
using
really
them as an example?
I don't really like any of these little shitheads out there like that. They're not on my level.
I
want to
say, rest in peace to the GOAT.
Oh my God,
Man.
How did we not?
AC.
Man.
How did we not talk
Man.
about that?
They took him too early, dog.
Boom. I put it in the hoop like Slam.
That's right. You did.
That's high B Shack.
He fucking.
Wait.
You had a real relationship with this guy.
Okay.
He was your spirit animal. Let's be real.
All right.
He gave you $900.
1,000.
He gave you top.
And a 14 karat gold
Don't
rope
just
chain.
ignore that. You have to deny that he gave you top.
Huh?
People are gonna believe
He
it.
said that. Oh my God! Listen,
You made a gay
shut the
shirt
fuck
with
up,
him.
Adam.
I know. I fucking have to. Josh,
You gotta find
tell fucking Donnie to go find that fucking gay shirt.
Yeah.
I gotta rock that. I gotta bring the Aaron Carter
Don't make
22
it.
shirt back.
Don't-
I'm gonna
don't
start wearing it
re-release
like
it.
every day.
Yeah, don't re-release
A shirt of
it.
us kissing. That's the rarest
Okay,
lore
listen.
ever, bro. You know we
How do you-
sold like 25.
How do you feel about like?
We probably got a lot still sitting on the
You
shelf.
sell more now.
We probably gotta reach from it. Make it like 80 bucks.
Wait, no, for real. Hey,
That's fucked up.
come on, man. Wait, listen, for real, bro.
NoJumper.com.
How do you feel about being his last on air?
It's kind of eerie,
thing
man.
that he did.
Like we dropped it 3 days before he died. I don't know how we might have done it a week before that or like 5 days or some shit. So it was like we did that shit right before.
How did he seem like when
Bad.
you did?
He was
Yeah.
fucking drinking lean. He was
Damn,
fucking,
What?
sad.
Yeah, and he fucking spilled some of it on the couch, and the dog started licking it up, and I'm freaking out, thinking that we're gonna get fucking animal control called on him, and they're gonna take his dog away, which I guess we don't really have to worry about now. But like, I'm you know, it was all bad. Like he was just fucking
Way worse than we've ever seen him.
Yeah, a little worse. Like he was like words were slurring, and it's like, bro, we're talking about the state taking his kid away, and it's like the most sad thing ever. And it's like he just didn't really, you know. And it's like I'm trying to like urge him to get his kid back, and then I'm also thinking like, damn, you probably should not get your kid back. You don't seem like you're in a great place. And
Well, that's probably why he was in that place.
but he's
because he
acting
was
like he's
probably
sober.
distraught.
They found him with hella duster around him and all this shit.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
It was the inhalants. You know what stuck out to me the most about the interview is that he was in that state, but he prefaced it by saying, "I'm sober now."
So it's
Yeah.
like all like under like that. There's such a disconnect from reality that he's not like gonna be like, yo, like I'm fucked up. He literally said he's sober, then said he was off the Xans, then showed a cup of lean.
But he's prescribed Xans.
But that don't mean
so
shit.
to him,
What does that mean?
So I think he uses that as an excuse to like why he could say that. He's denying that it's lean, even though I'm gonna be real with you. I'm looking at it, and it's either like he went and got grape soda that was like the perfect color to look like
Come on,
lean,
bro.
or it was lean. So I mean, I can't 100% say it, but it looked like
Having
lean
a
to me.
script does not justify you taking pills. That's like people could doc shop all
You know,
day.
I was
feel me?
watching this YouTube video about him. You feel me? And he was saying that back then, where it was like, okay, the doctor's giving me this. But it was sad. Even the shit Blas he sent today, like the fact that when he was crying and he was saying that he had to do the MTV Cribs when his parents were about to get divorced and they was gonna take everything away from him. It's sad.
Damn, bro.
It was.
He had a
You
rough
could tell
life,
that
man.
he had a rough life. Even knew all the fame and shit. He was real trouble, man. And
People think that like
That
fame
money don't
and
mean
money
nothing.
and all that shit just like automatically means you have no problems and you have nothing to worry about, bro.
Yeah, the crazy thing,
he was a good guy, dog.
Crazy thing,
was. He's 34 years old,
dude.
man.
On that podcast, he fucking finally repents and basically says that Nick Carter was not a rapist or an abuser, and all this.
And that's eerie about it because it's like you probably knew something was coming.
And he gave me that painting, and I saw, I don't know how true some of this stuff is, but I saw some of the Backstreet Boys Hive / like Aaron Carter people, like all these girls that talk about him on Twitter and shit, and they were talking about how he seemed like he was kind of giving away a lot of his shit. Him and his girl
But he
allegedly broke up like 2 days after we did that fucking interview.
But he's been like that. Remember, he fucking pulled out a band, took the chain off his neck, and gave it to me. That was like 2 years ago.
I think he's a generous dude though. Off rip.
Yeah,
though.
that's
Like,
what I'm
just,
saying.
But
like,
it
in
seemed
his
like he
nature.
was kind of in a bad place, and like when you start giving shit away, they say that that's like a very like a sign that a person is likely to commit suicide.
They
right?
know, yeah. Like, but the thing is this too. I really don't like this narrative
The
that's been
suicide narrative?
Well, beyond the suicide narrative, because you could commit suicide without actively trying to kill yourself. It could be
Exactly.
on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
But I also don't like the narrative of people trying to be like, oh, like Adam was being opportunistic with this interview and all that. Like, it's got nothing to do with that. He legitimately fucked with you, considered you a homie, and you gave him a platform when most people wouldn't have even given him an interview at that moment. Period.
And let's be real, I was being real with him. I'm like, you watch that interview, it's just me being me, which is that this is my homie. I fuck with him, but he's fucked up and he's being annoying and he's fucking clearly not in a good place. And I'm kind of annoyed that he came in and did the interview when he's in this state. Thank you, Boom Gang.
Boot gang, whole lot of gang shit. You already know, we out here. We here with no jumper. We lit. That's just how it goes.
Gang gang.
Whole lot of gang shit, gang gang. Gang gang. We out.
Appreciate you, Boom. Thank you.
Donated their way, bro. You'll cap it on their time, bro.
It's all right. You can leave the black and mild on the ground. It's okay, Boom. It's okay, Boom. Whole lot. Oh, whole lot of black and mild shit. All right. Whole lot of.
I'll be up.
Shout out to the homie Boonk.
Oh my god, bro. Help me with this nigga, bro. Okay. Alright.
Your face straight, bro.
Alright,
You
no.
good?
You good?
Yep. Man asked me, I'll take a picture.
Oh yeah, you can take a picture.
You're gonna get a
right
picture.
here. Maybe this will be the thumbnail.
Get a picture. Don't fall forward, please. Hey, smile for
If
the
I get
camera.
puked on, that's the ultimate thumbnail.
Bro, don't puke on me neither.
Nah.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera. That way. No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Alright, take it.
All right. Appreciate you, Boonk.
You want your black?
Nope. No? Nope.
Wow. Take care, bro.
You happy now?
Appreciate you.
Back to studio. Oh shit.
Oh man, that was something. That was something else. And I'm not in denial about that. That's reality. Is that it's like I'm not thinking about how it's gonna look if he passes away right after that. I'm just being real.
Who's
with him.
thinking about that? Yeah.
Hell no. I'm just like
No.
I'm hoping he can get his shit together and everything.
Nobody
but-
can predict that.
Exactly. Like I mean, I had
Especially that fast.
I've had people in my life that were way closer to me that I had to just straight cut ties with because they were just bringing too much chaos to my life. You know, it's like if you see that and you think like Adam's being too rude to Aaron or whatever, it's like, bro, that's where I was at. He wasn't acting like he had a problem. He wasn't acting like, oh yeah, I need to go to rehab and get clean
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm gonna be real with you. It's like he seemed like he was kind of too far gone at that point where it didn't seem like he was very likely to take his health seriously and actually get clean and all that shit. It didn't seem like he was ready to make that fucking decision.
And they're not taking it in the proper context. They're looking at
Sheesh,
this
bro.
interview after he's already dead,
Yeah.
and then like retroactively.
All you
placing-
hindsight ass
You know
niggas, bro.
they're gonna break that shit down and try to come up with whatever the fuck they come up with anyway.
Everybody likes to hindsight some shit and give your hindsight ass opinion. Like, come
Too
on.
weird. I think I changed it to the Shaq one, but I just didn't feel proper like eulogizing somebody while I want candy. The vibe was weird.
It's a weird vibe.
The Shaq song was a little different. It was like more athletic. But dude, talk about some creepy shit. I was like arguing with him, sitting right in that chair. I'm not saying that you're gonna die or anything as a result of sitting there.
In
But
Lancaster, California.
he's sitting there arguing with me about whether he was a legend or not. Because he goes, I don't like to be called a celebrity. I don't like to be called a genius. I don't like to be called a legend. Well, I'll be called a legend or whatever, like some shit like that. I'm like, no, you are a celebrity. That's not up for debate. Your legend status is up for debate.
Definitely. He's not a legend. A legend has to be good, right? A legend has to, by definition, be good at the thing they were a celebrity for.
Okay, he is actually channeling himself through my brain right now from heaven
What's he
to
saying?
tell you that he sold like 700 million records or some shit. A lot of people are actually saying that some of his claims were cap about how many records he sold, like in the comments or whatever. But Aaron Carter is right now communicating to me that those people are full of shit. So he wants to make clear that he's a legend. But to what level are you a legend? Like to what am I a legend? To what level do we have to reach to be a legend? Because I'm gonna be real with you. If you're like a YouTuber with like a couple million subscribers that has like a decent following, I think that you're easily a legend. For me, Aaron Carter, legend, yeah. Like forget about the music. The interviews alone were legendary. I'm sorry, if you have a series of like multi-million view interviews on a big platform like No Jumper, that's good enough for me. You're a legend. You made a dent.
If the interviews were, I don't think of any YouTuber as a legend. So I think that's my first thing.
Mr. Beast isn't a legend. If Mr. Beast dies right now, we're gonna be talking about Mr. Beast for the next fucking 30 years.
Maybe I have that 90s grunge idea of legend. To me, a legend has to have put out at least one good album, preferably two, done a lot of heroin, maybe killed himself. Think Elliott Smith, Kurt Cobain, of course, Brad from Sublime. I need something like that. And it really hurts your legend status when every week, like clockwork, somebody puts a mic in front of your mouth and you say everything on your mind for an hour. Because then you see how dumb we really are. It takes away from your image.
During your life, I agree that doing a ton of media can take away from your legend status, but there's something that happens where when you die, a lot gets forgiven. And like the fact that you were blowing yourself out, the fact that you made 5 million fucking songs that nobody cares about, rarely gets calculated into the legend thing. Like all the bad stuff kind of gets pushed to the background unless it's like you're Kobe and it's bad enough that they still have to talk about it all over again.
I call this piece of art Kobe Bryant water in a bubble bath.
And then, you know, all the good stuff kind of gets pushed to the forefront. They take your like main career accomplishments and they act as if that was the entirety of how great your fucking life was. And we're seeing a little bit of that where it's like, you know, the Nick Carter, Aaron Carter's brother, you probably don't know this, but Aaron Carter was basically like accusing him of being a rapist and a terrible person.
He accused his older brother.
An abuser, yes, his more successful brother.
The Backstreet Boy.
From the Backstreet Boys, right. And so Nick Carter is like, I think might have like had a lawsuit at some point, or at the very least was like ignoring him and basically like acting as if he didn't even fucking know the guy for the latter part of his life, where Aaron Carter is going on platforms like this and saying all this crazy ass shit. And actually, to be real, in the interview that we did like a week or two ago, Aaron Carter sat there and said that he apologized to his brother and how he had believed some girl who had said this stuff about him and how he no longer believed that girl or whatever. But then now you're seeing Nick Carter like crying his eyes out on stage during a Backstreet Boys performance, mourning Aaron Carter.
The most amazing part of that story is that the Backstreet Boys are still performing.
Oh, they reunited.
Slim 400 situation with you leaking his address.
So, on the side of this interview, I got a real bone to pick with you, bro.
Oh, what's up?
You didn't put my hospital address on the internet.
I know. I screenshotted the conversation with Bud.
And posted it.
Damn, that is.
He got shot 9 times.
How are you gonna post somebody's hospital address on your page that has millions of subscribers or followers? I just don't understand. I don't know, the way he's acting about it, like on camera, like, oh, you know, yeah. It's like, bro, do you even give a shit? Like, at least try to pretend like you care that you f***ed up. You leaked this man's address when he was in the hospital, super lacking, confined to a hospital bed. Man.
Times.
I know.
You want the niggas to come back to the hospital? That's out, Adam.
That's really bad.
You could have me killed.
I know.
They was already expected to do that. Now they would have came and sat in the parking lot or something.
There's certain things that you can speak on
Rest
when
in
it comes
peace
to
to
news.
Slim 400.
But then there's some things, don't go that route.
I mean, to be fair, I did delete it as soon as you told me to delete it. But I don't
Man,
know
this
how
shit
many
was
hours
already
it was
on.
up.
This shit was already on air. You know, people screenshotted that and reposted it, and blogs picked it up.
Yeah, it does not matter if you know how many people got that screenshot as soon as you posted it? Does not matter when you delete it. As soon as you posted it, at least 1,000
We
people
know
saw
you
it.
didn't leak this address. Rest in peace to Slim 400.
Breaking news out of Inglewood. Police are investigating a deadly shooting near Manchester and 7th Avenue. TMZ is reporting the victim is a rapper who goes by the name Slim 400.
It just must be crazy because, like, you talk to so many people who, like, have died recently. Like Milk was saying, how do we know you didn't leak that address? If you leaked his hospital address,
satanic symbol on his hand.
It's a Satan symbol?
Well, it's just a tattoo, but in reality, it's a Baphomet, which is satanic symbol, yeah. But it's because if you actually look at what Satan did in the Bible, it wasn't much besides saying like, hey, shit, I'm gonna...
You are continuously making things harder for me by just speaking on me. You feel what I'm saying? Because you have a following that rides with you through your allegations. And I don't know who you paid, or they possibly could be trolls. It could be you. You feel me? Because every time you finish an interview, you go straight to the phone. All day. Just be on the phone. And it's just, I never understood, like, Reddit. Like, how could you be, 30 plus, and you sit on that all day? But covering your shit up? Not around us. You ain't about to try to make us look crazy and then just cover your shit up. Nigga, you are crazy. That's a mental problem right there, Adam. That's a mental issue right there. Oh, I'm going to take mine off and lead theirs. Sniffler. That's a problem. You feel me? My thing is leave Big Ski the fuck alone. What you mean they deleting everything on the Reddit? That's what they do. Whenever it's about him, delete. Like, fuck that. Can't delete shit on mine. Only thing you can do is get my YouTube taken down, my IG taken down, because you can't do nothing to me physically. And I'm on your ass because you hopped up on house phone, took your jacket off, and threw your hands up like you was about to try to fight, Fight Milk, the other white boy. He came up there to fade. You looked at my brother. Everybody in that building didn't want to move. What else I gotta do? I'm not doing this stream because I'm gonna harm you or hurt you. I can care less. I just wanted to set the record straight that you ain't good. If the Atlantic canceled you, they need to cancel your ass off this shit too. Because if you could think you could cancel me, you need to be canceled too, brother. They could say all they want, Big Ski got paperwork, but my paperwork don't lie. Was there any human trafficked? No. Was there any human pimped? No. Was there anything, activity beyond speech? No. That's why they put me in a magazine, bro. Do you know I'm in a magazine where they're defending my case? White boy. You have a victim, bro. Her mother's involved in this. Lena, how do you sit around that? And y'all just smiling and acting like everything is cool because he has a platform? Come on, man. I can sit right here in my living room and chop game all day. Fuck that.